Alright guys, Will here from ZaltekReviews.com. Now you probably clicked the thumbnail and probably thought, what's he banging on about now? Right, well I done a video, I thought about 6 weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago, a similar style of thumbnail. This one is totally different, and I think I'm very justified in comparing the watch I'm going to show you after the intro, comparing it to the Christopher Ward C60 Atoll 300. Now, I did review that watch, and I thought it was fantastic, and it did go on my elite list. However, I think the watch that you're going to see is way better value, and it offers more. So, without further ado, play the intro. Right guys, quite a bit to cover today, right? So, without further ado, I'm going to show you the watch that I think is better value than the C60 Atoll 300. And it is from one of my favourite micro brands, yes, another one. And here we have it. It is the second hour Gin Clear Mark II diver. Now let me explain right before you all click off. I'm going to explain to you exactly why I think it's better value. Right? First up, the price of these, I just looked on their website and they are shown at $779 US, which is a good, what, $150 cheaper than the shit. I've not turned my lights on, for fuck's sake. I'm fucking recording here in the dark. Right, there we go, that's better. I'm just going to leave that in, because this is actually my fourth attempt to recording this bit, because I kept fucking it up and losing my train of thought. Right, aye. The Gin Clear Mark II, $779 as I mentioned, right? Cheaper than the Christopher Ward. Now, this is where I'm going to run through the specs. I'll give my thoughts at near the end, or probably I just waffle a lot of shite, so I might lose my train of thought again and start talking about cheese and cucumbers or some shit. Who knows? Where that came from, I don't know. Right, the specs. Oh shit, let me move that so I can put my bump down the left hand side. Right, the dimensions of this watch are as follows. Case diameter 40.2 millimeters. The total thickness, including the sapphire, of 11.9 millimeters. Lug to lug 46.8 mil, and the watch has a 20 mil lug width. The total weight with the bracelet sized up for my 6.8 inch wrist is 161 grams. So slightly over on the weight side is what you would normally expect from like a 40 mil. But then again, it's a 300 metre diver, and it's still under 12 mil thick. I think that's outstanding. Right, the movement inside it, excuse me, the movement inside it is a fully regulated, in-house regulated, that is, by second hour. It is an ETA 2824-2. Now that's a better movement than the Christopher Ward straight off the bat. One, it's regulated, and it's the proper ATA movement. It's quite hard to get these, I believe, for micro brands, but second hour I've managed to get them, so happy days. Right, let me put that there. Right, the movement, 28,800 vibrations an hour, hackable, self-winding with a 38-hour power reserve. Pretty much the same spec as what Christopher Ward used. They use the SW200 from Seiko. But then again, the Seiko is a clone of this movement, the ETA, as you should know. Right, the case itself is very nice. It is brushed and polished 316L stainless steel. And another thing that this watch has that the Christopher Ward doesn't is a hardness coating of 1200 on the Vickers scale, and that covers the entire watch including the bracelet, everything. Well, let me show you the case first. There, it's really nicely done, beautiful finishing. It's really nice. You can see the polished accents, chamfered edge along the top there. You've got an undercut that's also polished. It's beautiful, really nice. Crown guards there. I'll show you the other side. Just give that a wipe, make sure there's no dirt on it. Aye, really nice finishing. I'll just try to show you. There's polished chamfers on the inside of the lugs as well, which is lovely. Just try to show you every single part of this as best I can. Brushed on top, matches the bracelet perfectly the same, like grey to steel. It's very, very nice. Right, what's next? Oh, the bracelet, brushed and polished as well. 316L stainless steel, obviously. It's got the hardness coating, as I mentioned. It's got solid links throughout. Screw pins for sizing. And a milled clasp with on-the-fly adjustment. So, it's all good. Just show you the bracelet. It's actually brushed, and it's a 5-link number. The small centre links, they're polished, whilst the other 3 they're brushed. Nice effect. But there's chamfered edges along the edge that kind of flows from the case across the bracelet. And the sides are polished as well, screw pins as I mentioned. Milled clasp, fully milled. The housing is milled as well, it's not pressed. Double push button release and on the fly adjustment as I mentioned. It's signed there with the second hour logo. The finishing's really nice, and you've got that chamfered edge along there, it's polished. It's beautiful. Really good attention to detail, I like that. It's all good. Right, what's next? The bezel, it's 120 click unidirectional, and it's also really nicely done. Now, the good thing is I've had a couple of Christopher Wards and the bezel doesn't line up properly. Not so much lining up. The mistake that Christopher Ward made with the Atoll 300 is you have like your normal minute track or chapter ring, right? Then you have the bezel, which hopefully lines up at the 12. But Christopher Ward also done like a steel ring with markers on it as well. So that was another scope for error or misalignment. And I actually had two of the Atoll 300s. I had the white shark, whatever, I can't remember what they called it. Shark white, something like that. And there was also the blue one. I had both. And yes, I did buy them. They were not sent to me by Christopher Ward. And they just weren't aligned properly, and it just bugged the shit out of me. So I sold them. I think the white one was better than the blue one. The blue one was really off because of that ring, that metal ring that went round between the sapphire crystal and the bezel. I thought that was a poor design choice. Right, so the bezel on this one lines up perfect, and the action is fantastic. Nice, it's kind of muted, but it just feels expensive. Right, have I lined that up right? My eyes are bad. Aye, perfect, as I mentioned. Ceramic insert as well, and all the markings on the bezel insert are loomed as well. They're not on the Christopher Ward behind. They used a stainless steel with black enamel markings, so obviously it's not loomed. Right, what's next? The crystal on this, excuse me, crystal on this is flat sapphire, and it has 6 layers of AR coating on the underside. And with this being a white dial, never had any issues with legibility, which is quite surprising because the surrounds, sometimes they look silver, sometimes they look, like when you look at it like that, straight on, they look quite dark. But then other times, they come across as silver. But I've never had any issues with it. The legibility of this watch at all. See, they look like black surrounds even at this angle. But as I said, no issues. What am I banging on about? Oh, aye, that was the sapphire. The dial, you either have a gloss dial or the sunburst. I think the sunburst just for the black dial, because the clue's in the name, but I'll go into all the different dial options later. This one's gloss white, and it's lovely. It's not off-white, it's not cream, it's not silver, it's pure white. Just the way it should be. If you're going to market a watch and say it's got a white dial, and I've had this happen to me in the past, because I am the white dial slut. I love white dials. But when a company will say it's a white dial and it turns up and it's fucking silver, it really grips my shit. I mean, if the shop was local, say it was a brick and mortar store, I'd be right round there and I says, "Oh, fuckers, I thought you told me this fucking watch was white. It's silver. Take it back, you dick." That's how annoyed I get when, I mean, I'm not going to mention names, but I've had brands that do that, and it really annoys me. Right, anyway, rant over. The dial on this is exactly, what do they call it? Arctic white. And it is white. Right, printed minute track round the edge, applied indices, You also have those, what's become their sort of design attributes, is they have different markers at 12, 4 and 8, as you can see on this. Personally speaking, I think it would be better without, see how they've segmented it a wee bit right in the middle. Focus. It would be better without that, but I'm really nitpicking. They've done that with the majority of their, I think all of their watches, in fact. Right, where was I? I covered everything. Oh, the hands on this are diamond cut, and I've looked at it under my loop, and the finishing of the hands and everything is, you're not going to see it here just on camera, but trust me, when I looked on the using the loop, they were perfect. I couldn't find any rough edges, or, you know, maybe the loom isn't perfect. Oh, you bastard. Oh. Cue Homer Simpson.
Well, excuse me for having enormous flaws!
Aye, so they've also done a custom counterbalance as well with their logo. I'll show you again. You can see that. Wait till it goes past. There. You can see it better now. It's a nice touch. And aye, the colour accents, this is another good bit, is the majority of white watches I get, and they've got colour accents, they always use orange. Why the fuck are they using orange? Orange is really legible. Sorry, I'll put that down. Orange is really legible on like a black watch. But this time, Secondary have decided to make the colour accents red, which is a much better choice. Either red or blue, I think's perfect for a white dial, because it gives the most contrast. I mean, obviously black does, but it's not really a colour, is it? Well, it is a colour. Oh, fucking hell. Fucking train of thought, sorry, fuck, man. Black or blue. Oh, fucking hell. Red or blue on a white dial. That's where you're... I think that's the perfect choice. And they've done red. Now, let me show you. They've done a red tip on the seconds hand. Great. Red triangle. The water resistance is in red. And you'll also notice there's a red inlay on the crown. See, and it all ties in perfect. Excellent. Right. Oh, right. The loom on this is Swiss Super Luminova BGW9 Grade A. I'm not sure how many layers I've put on, but it's perfectly even across the board. It lasts plenty time. You'd probably get a better result with C3 X1 grade. Obviously that's top tier, but then that glows green. But it does last longer than BGW9, no matter what grade it is. I've not seen that in a watch for a while, actually. That X3 X1 grade. Anyway, the loom on this, it's perfect for what it is. Executed really well. Water resistance is 300 metres on this. Great, fantastic. Deepest I goes in the bath. The case back on this is solid. And, that's upside down. try to get it in the light so it focuses. There you go. And it's really nicely done. Nice and smooth. That logo there is oil pressed, and what is it again? A hawksbill turtle. Fine, fair enough. Gin clear at the top, basic specs around the edge. Didn't really see that in it. Oh, quick release on the bracelet. Forgot to mention that earlier. It's all good. Oh, that's a wee bit up there. Right, put the watch down. Fuck's sake. I'll end up picking it back up again in a minute, watch. Aye, that was the case back. The crown is 6mm. I think they could have went bigger, to be honest. But then you'd need to rework the crown guards and shit. Crown's lovely anyway, 6mm, as I mentioned. Really nice grip on it as well. Let's see if I can get that to focus. See the grip on that? It's great. And you've got that colour matched inlay that matches the accents of the watch. It's all good. And it's signed as well. It's nicely done, that. I like how it's it's no sandblasted, but it's similar to that. And the actual logo itself is brushed, and you've got like that polished accent. Aye, it's all tool. It's all very tool-like, but in a really nice premium. See, even just using the crown, actually, I forgot to mention that. Just using it, it's so much nicer than the Christopher Ward. Obviously down to the movement. It just feels it feels much better. More premium. More high end. It's just what you want. Alright, colourways. Right, there's 4 colourways that Secondary offer. You have this one, right, Arctic White, which is obviously my favourite. There is also the Ocean Sunset, which is an orange dial. A lot of people like orange divers. Fine, fair enough. There's also a pastel blue, which is nice. And the Sunburst black dial. I think that's the only one with the Sunburst dial, to be honest with you. Clues in the name. You can buy these right now. I'm not sure what's in stock at this very minute. But it's no Kickstarter or pre-order, or I'm sure they've got various colourways in stock. That's direct from the Secondary website. And warranty-wise, 2 years. Perfect. Alright, it's not as good as 5 years like the Christopher Ward, but it's only the warranty only covers the movement. It doesn't cover anything else. So, 2 years minimum. That's what I hope for on every watch, every brand. And I think it's perfectly fair. 2 years. Can't go wrong. I think that I've covered absolutely everything. I do actually think, if you're looking at the Christopher Ward, especially the C60 series, the Atoll, or even the, what's the other one? The Trident 300. I think this is a good alternative. You will save a bit of money, you're getting a better movement, you're getting a hardness coating, everything else, you're getting, if I'm honest with you, I prefer the light catcher case of the Christopher Ward. But everything else, I think it's a great alternative. This. So, well, award-wise, I've got to give it the Platinum Award, and it will go on my elite list. I need to rejig my elite list, because I seem to be adding quite a lot of watches on my elite list recently. But this one is definitely going on there. And this is only the second watch from Secondary that's got on my elite list. The first one being the Mandala. I've still to review the Mandala, the bust, what do you call it? The Bustman? No, Mandala Bust, whatever the fuck they call it. I still want to see that. And I have asked the brand, but I believe they're sold out at the moment. But they need to send me one, because I can't even find a second-hand one on eBay or anywhere else. So they need to send me one, because I really want to review that, because I think it would replace the Mandala that's on the elite list right now. Right, anyway, how long have we been talking? 25 minutes, fucking hell. Right, I did say at the beginning I had a lot to discuss, but then I fucking shut up. Well, I'm waffling. Right, I'm going to go. Please like, share, subscribe. I say that in every video. Just do it. I know most of you won't anyway, because 80% of people that watch this video aren't even subscribed anyway. Fuckers. Right, I'm going to go. Right, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Toodles.